All right, Shalom. First and foremost, going to give all glory and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, HaKadosh. Double honors to the apostle and others, a great millstone. All right, just finna get into this quick lesson. All right, this article. See right here, it says LA legal group accused ICE of discriminating against people with brown skin in lawsuit. All right, and if you've been paying attention, ICE been going around, basically getting at the tribes. All right, they're getting at the tribes now. All right. So here, we'll just read into it. It says a coalition of legal and immigrants' rights group based in LA is suing the Trump administration for racial profiling against brown-skinned people in its crackdown on illegal immigration. All right. And yes, they are targeting so-called brown skin, and not just any brown skin. All right, because you got Indians. All right, they could be brown skin. But mainly they're talking about the Israelites. All right, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. All right, who are the true biblical Israelites. All right. Yes, they are coming down on you niggas. Because look. Let's get some. Revelations 12. Revelations 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. All right, so the devil, he knows, all right? Who is the devil? What does devil mean? Deceiver, all right? And who has deceived the whole world to believe that, the Messiah, he's a so-called white man. All right, that it's okay to be, a LGBTQT member. All right. Who did that? The so-called white man. All right. So the devil's come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. All right. Yeah, Esau, the so-called white man, knows that his time is short, that Yahushua is about to come back and take him out of his rulership. So guess what? Before he goes down, he's going to he's going to keep on, taking down as many Jakes as he can with him. It's being found out that they're, throwing Jakes, off of, out of planes and shit midair. They're throwing them into, these facility camps, So, and they got an alligator Alcatraz coming. So, hey, this devil, it's about to get worse and worse and worse, for the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, So, again, it says the lawsuit filed Wednesday in L.A. federal court alleges immigration and customs enforcement is discriminating against and arresting people with brown skin. Individuals with brown skin are approached or pulled aside by the unidentified federal agents suddenly and with a show of force and made to answer questions about who they are and where they are from, the complaint says. All right. And obviously, we're still in slavery. They ain't got, they could just pull you to the side by force. Hey, who are you? Do you belong? It says the plaintiffs accuse ICE officers of carrying out brazen midway kidnappings rather than lawful arrests. They also describe Southern California as under siege by the Trump administration stringent immigration policies. So real quick, let's look at what under siege mean. I ain't looked this up. It's a movie. So I wonder if it means like Like it's a disguised siege. Okay. It says the fort had been under siege by guerrillas since June. So it says undergoing a siege, all right? And we know that, hey, back in Jerusalem, 70 AD, it was getting, besieged, all right? That was a terrible time for Jake, So, hey, the same thing is happening. People saying that, hey, it's under siege right now. Hey, shit. Where's it at? Where'd it go? Shit. No, not this one. So it says they also describe Southern California as under siege by the Trump administration. So real quick, let's get something else since they talking about sieging. I'm at 24. Matthew 24:15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe to them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. See? But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days shall be shortened, there shall be no flesh saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. All right. So yeah, and it reads right there, perilous times. All right. So the same people, all right, so-called Edomites, all right, are cracking down on Jakes, just like, like always, all right? Happened back then, hey, it's happening now, I didn't really pay attention to when they said under siege, So, hey, who knows? Hey, I try to look up some other things about, Southern California. Let's see if there's anything new. It says ice fear shut down July 4th events in multiple California cities. Oh yeah, look, they're coming. ICE is going into like churches, just storming in churches. So we're in the start of. Here, let's get this. We're in the start of this right here. Isaiah 59:19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against them. All right. And yeah, the enemy, Esau, Edom, so-called white man. Hey, look what he's doing. He's coming down on Jakes. All right, like a flood. All right. But it's gonna increasingly get worse. All right, but guess what? For the elect, all right, when there's nowhere to turn, nowhere to hide, hey, that standard's gonna be lifted up for them. All right, divine intervention is going, come in. All right, spiritual powers. All right. So let's go back to that article though. Where is it at? Hope I ain't just lose it. Look at this one. It says something about cruel. It says immigrant advocates suing federal government over cruel raids in Southern California. It says the American Civil Liberties Union and other advocacy groups came together Wednesday morning to announce a lawsuit against the federal government related to recent immigration raids. It says Maria, the wife of one of the men who was just taken by federal agents, said he was just going to work to support his family. We just want him to come home, she said. He's never done anything wrong. He's a hardworking person. If he had his last dollar, he'd give it up to you. And it's just heartbreaking for us. And yeah, see? And Maria sound, you already know, Northern tribe most likely. All right, and see, this is a start. This is the start of Jacob's trouble. All right, you niggas about to feel it, because people want to scoff. All right, they don't want to repent. So guess what? The Lord's about to make you feel it. Jeremiah 30:7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. So you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, it's time for you guys' trouble. All right. It said none is like it. No historic tragedy is going to be able to equal up to this day right here. All right, so we're coming into some horrible times. All right, what the scripture say in the Wisdom of Solomon? It said horrible is the end of the unrighteous generation. All right, and this is that unrighteous generation. What do Yahushua call this generation? The wicked and the adulterous generation. All right. So it ain't nothing good is about to come out of none of this. All right. You're not about to you niggas, y'all not about to prevail over this. All right. It's just about to be straight judgment. All right. It's gonna keep on getting worse and worse. All right. But for the elect, all right, the ones that's out here sighing and crying, guess what? They're gonna be delivered out of this. All right. So the elect has nothing to worry about, But for niggas that scoff, all right, they don't want to get right, they could care less about Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Guess what? This day is coming, And another point, too, let's get a second at the 16, because she talking about Maria losing her husband, all right? Now, of course, we don't know if he's dead or not, but now she'd be considered a widow, Second Ezra 16 and verse 33. It's about to get worse and worse and worse. It's not about to get better, all right? These ICE agents, all right, they're going to keep on multiplying, all right? They're going to be coming down harder, all right? You see that they're coming down to the Haitians now. You seen, and it was a video recently posted, of ICE agents it was probably, I think them niggas was having like a block party or something, because it was just a whole bunch of niggas out there. I don't know. But ICE agent just went in there and tried to snatch up a chick, in the middle of 50 plus niggas, So it's about to get worse, So this second Ezra 16 to 33. The virgin shall mourn, having no bridegrooms. The woman shall mourn, having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn, having no helpers. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. And yeah, the husbands, all right, the men, they're going to perish in these wars. All right, best believe there's about to be there's going to be a civil war soon, all right? Because, hey, Jake is going to get fed up, all right? And they're going to come against, Esau, all right? And it's going to be mass bloodshed out here, all right? And guess what? The woman, their husband's going to die, and guess what? They're not going to have no protector in these times, all right? Because with the civil wars, that shit is going to last, all right? And it's going to get worse, You know, I don't know how exactly, it's gonna play out, but we know it ain't gonna be it happened for 2 days and then we can nah, it's gonna happen, all right? And when it happens, it's gonna strike fear into everybody because they don't understand that we're in the times of prophecy, We're in the times of prophecy. So it ain't gonna just ease up, and then we're gonna come back. Nah, hell no. Here, let's get this. 2nd Ezra 9:1. Matter of fact, I'm gonna keep on reading on this real quick. So yeah, man, the woman Marias, all right, you got your Marias out here, you got your Keishas, all right, you got your whatever, all right. You got women out here that basically they just got a man just to have one. They don't really care for him, all right. They act all bitchy. Guess what? You're gonna have no protector in that day, all right. In the times to come, you're not gonna have no protector, all right. Let's see. I'm gonna start right here. Angelisa Salas, executive director of Chirla, said it's critical that we claim our rightful rights under the Constitution. This lawsuit speaks to protecting our basic freedoms in the middle of an onslaught by our own government, she said. This attack on our community is comprehensive and cruel, involving this illegal snatching and grabbing of community members off the street, like at this car wash, then subjecting them to unconstitutional and dehumanizing confinement conditions. And yeah, they just throwing them in places, all right. Care less if they got, access to clean water and shit, See, the Lord, he's not playing. Because this, I'm going to get 2 precepts real quick. The Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua is not playing. Psalm 17:13, arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. All right, the wicked. Who is the wicked? According to Malachi 1:4, is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. All right. So the sword, he calls him the sword. All right. So the so-called white man is the Lord's sword. How he uses this man to punish us, So it ain't finna get pretty out here, these judgments are gonna be way worse than just being snatched up, What else was I trying to get? Fuck. Oh yeah. Isaiah 19 and verse 2. And I will set the Egyptians, or it's like it. Am I tripping? Isaiah 19:4. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, said the Lord of hosts. All right. So the Egyptians, all right, the modern day, or the Americans, all right, because this is spiritually Egypt, according to Deuteronomy 28:68, So here, let's get the word cruel real quick. All right, and that cruel Lord is Donald Trump. All right, because you see, as soon as he come in, he start making things happen. All right, and not for the pleasure of Jake. Last time, he was giving them money and shit. Nah, this time now y'all about to suffer. You know, y'all gotta go outside and constantly, watch your shoulders, you know? What is that? Quasha. Hard, cruel, severe, hard, difficult, severe, fierce, intense, vehement. Yep. Strong hatred. And yeah, they have a strong hatred for you, Jakes, all right? Understand that. You know? It says rigorous of battle. See? So it's cruel. Hey, he's about to get crueler. This is, this, again, this is, this is the start of it, So see, this is all prophecy at the end of the day. Prophecy. Let me see. It says DHS enforcement operations are highly targeted and officers do their due diligence. She said any claim that there are sublime conditions at ICE detention centers are false. In fact, ICE has higher detention standards than most U.S. prisons that hold actual U.S. citizens. All detainees are provided with proper meals, medical treatment, and have opportunities to communicate with lawyers and their family members. All right, so if that's, hey, see, you don't trust this white man, don't trust him. Scripture say not to, because they could talk the talk, but, it don't line up. It's Sirach 13 and verse, or is it 12? 12 and 10, never trust thine enemy, all right? The so-called white man is our enemy, all right? For like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness, all right? And iron, as soon as hit that oxygen, it's gonna rust, all right? So same thing with this white man, The man is breathing. Guess what? He's wicked, So don't, whatever this man say, but think the opposite, They probably in there torturing him, all right? Who knows? Let's get this. 2nd Ezra 9:1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, all right, then shalt thou well understand that is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. See, so the Lord is visiting this world which he made, and he's visiting through judgments, all right? And how do we measure the time diligently? Seeing the current news, what's going on around the world, and lining it up with scriptures. All right, just like I did with the Isaiah 19. All right, that cruel Lord. All right, Lord already had all this set up, from the beginning. Verse 3, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and the uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and the end is manifest. Yeah, the end. All right, the end of what? This eon. All right, that's a Greek word for world. All right, meaning an age. The rulership. Of who? The so-called white man. All right, the age of wickedness. All right, it's the end of this. All right, and before the end is always, the Lord is setting it up, basically. Certain prophecy, all right? The things written in the scriptures got to play out before, Yahweh Shai's kingdom come, all right? Because, once this kingdom come, it's going to be everlasting peace on the earth, We're not going to have to worry about nothing no more, you know, and that's what we're waiting for, you know. To live in righteousness all our life, you know. Be immortal, you know. No fear, you know. So yeah, man. That was pretty much it. You know, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Gonna give all glory, honor, praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash. Double honor to the Apostle Andrews, Great Millstone. All right, shalom.